Good evening. Today is Monday, August 24th, 2026. This is the Village of Hannah City Board of Trustees meeting. Mayor Frixell is absent for medical reasons, and for that reason I will launch the meeting until we get to the point where we can vote in a president pro tem. So with that, if you would stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. First on the agenda is to recognize our guests. We have Victoria Salinas. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Anything you want to share with the board, or are you just here to observe?
Just here to observe.
Okay. Next, Trace Evans. Trace, anything you want to share with the board, or just here to observe?
Just here to observe.
Excellent. And then next is Aaron Phillips with Phillips and Salmi. He'll be addressing the board soon for our 2025-26 audit report. All right, so with that, let's move into consideration and election of a president pro tem in Tony's absence. At this point, I would accept any nominations for that position.
I nominate Ryan Pearson.
Ryan Pearson's name has been put forward. Is there anybody else who would want to be nominated? Everybody run to it. All right, hearing no other nominations, we will take a roll call vote, and we will start with Weaver.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Syedek.
Yes.
All right, all those vote as unanimous, so Ryan Pearson is therefore elected the president pro tem until the return of Mayor Tony Frixell. Please join us in the big seat. And while you're doing that, I will introduce Aaron Phillips from Phillips and Salmi. He is the auditor that does our annual financial audit, and he is going to go through the results with the board. And then, per custom, we normally vote at the end to approve the audit.
Okay. Well, thanks for having me. I'm the auditor. I mean, I guess I'm the guy in charge. I don't necessarily say I'm actually doing the audits anymore. So I tried to see if Tom would come and give a presentation, but he was tied up with his kids, so you got me again. I'm not, you don't pay me to do a presentation, so it's pretty much the same thing as what you've heard before. So I apologize for that.
We love having you here.
Yeah, right. So we're looking at the audit for the time period May 1st of 25 to April 30th of 26, which is typically almost all municipalities, cities, villages are running on that time frame. Some run on June to June. Some run on March, but for the most part, the April time frame is where most of the villages run a fiscal year. So these numbers, so really, as the auditor, what are we doing? We're taking the numbers that management provides us and we're verifying them. So we're looking at bank accounts, we're looking at debt balances, we're looking at revenues, we're looking at expenses, and then in a governmental accounting, you've got all your funds. So you've got your general fund, your motor fuel tax fund, your water and sewer fund, your TIF fund, your business development fund. And so we're looking at, not only are we looking at totals, we're also looking at each individual fund to make sure the revenues are in the right fund, the expenses are appropriate for that fund. So we're doing all of that to end result is to get a financial statement, which is the big document, the big bound document. Yeah.
Real quick, looks like Tony Frisell has entered the online. Just wanted to let you know we had somebody coming in online.
Okay, great, awesome. And so the end result is the audit, and the audit gets filed with the Illinois Comptroller, along with an AFR, which is a prescribed form, which is done online, which is derived from the audited financial statements, and then there's also another TIF report, which Jacob and Klein handles the report. We handle the financial information that goes into that. So there's a whole reporting package that goes to various departments at the state of Illinois.
Is the TIF report done, or is it soon to be done?
It will be done. We're going to send. They have to have a final audit before they can submit the TIF, and we've got the AFR ready to go. So audit has to happen first, then the other reports will follow soon after.
Thank you.
So we're in. I think we've got a due date of October 26th on these things. So we're more than 2 months out. So we'll make the due dates without any problem. So the audit, we're looking at, like I said, we're looking at cash balances. We're looking at debt balances. We're confirming all the revenues that come from the state. We're verifying that those are reported in your village financials appropriately. So we've got state monies coming in, we've got county monies that are coming in. So we're doing a lot of verification outside of the organization to verify your numbers. So that's really strong audit evidence, because we're not testing internal information. We're going out externally and verifying it back. So it's a pretty good. I love doing villages because for the most part, I can confirm almost all of your revenues except for your water and sewer revenues. So those then we test. We do detailed tests of deposits. We do analytical tests. We're looking at customers. Reviewing billing. Like a whole year of billings for a selected 25 customers. So when we can't confirm revenues, we have to do a whole bunch of work to get comfortable that those revenues are accurate. So we did all that, and again, I mean, we basically don't have any audit adjustments when we do your audits, because Cassandra's awesome, Brian's awesome, reviewing things on a monthly basis. So we do all this work, and everything's always in great shape. So I just want to commend you guys on doing such a good job. And then the point I was trying to make was, so like on a monthly basis, you're getting financial statements and analytical things on a monthly basis, from management. The fact that the audit doesn't have a lot of adjustments, doesn't have a lot of things that are different, or we're not moving revenues around, we're not adjusting things to different periods or different months. The stuff you're getting on a monthly basis is really very accurate. So when you start asking questions, start looking at things, you've got a little reliance that, hey, the audit had everything they had everything in the right spot for the audit. So, not that you shouldn't be asking questions, but you can rely on the information it's pretty good. It's exceptional. So,
Seems to be a running theme too, so thank you for continuing to do such a good job.
Exactly. I know. And I wish I had somebody, I just keep saying, I say the same, at some point you're going to say, this guy's not doing his job.
Get a second opinion, because he's never finds anything.
I know, exactly. We need somebody else from my office here that has a different opinion.
Well, that's not necessarily true. I mean, you've made procedural recommendations over the years, and we've made adjustments based upon that to make it even better. So
absolutely, minor tweaks. Yeah. And I think one thing that we did, that one recommendation we had was on the invoices. So the invoices, it would be nice to see like an okay to pay from the department heads. That way we know that somebody that ordered materials, or somebody that that ordered it or received it is okay with it. And that's one thing that I think I'd like to see more of, is to say, hey, somebody outside of the finance department has looked at this invoice and said it's okay. Because maybe the finance department, doesn't know everything that's going on outside of this building. And so it would be nice to see that. That's the only thing that I would like to see.
Yeah, I think it's happening sometimes, just not as consistently as we'd like.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's just a procedural thing. Not that there was anything wrong when we saw anything, but just, hey, it's nice to be able to say, hey, this was approved by the guy who ordered it, or this is outside. The guy who's using this has approved it. So that's just the one, another like little tweak that we had as a suggestion. So the quality of the books are in great shape. Now the financials, again, you guys have really good financial position, have really good, operating results year in and year out. If you go to, this year was a little different because you spent a lot of money. You did the solar project, you sold the public works building, you bought another piece of land, you started building a public works building. So there were a lot of things that were outside of the box of what we usually see. So when you look at the financials this year, you're going to see there's more debt because you borrowed money for the solar project, and then in the general fund you borrowed some money for the public works improvements. So about $585,000 was borrowed for the public works, and then it's actually, the solar project has been going on. You actually paid down the loan this year. You borrowed up to like $400,000 last year. Solar project was done, and then you received the tax credit, the federal tax credit, and then some rebates from the state, and you're able to pay down that debt. So actually, at the end of the year, you only owe about $198,000 on the solar project. So, but anyway, so when you're looking at these financials compared to prior years, there's a lot more moving pieces than what we've seen in the past. But still, overall, great things that should definitely benefit the city and the residents going forward. If we look at, so I'm just going to look at the two handouts that I have. And the first one is on the third line down, it says governmental fund types. And then it's got the general fund, motor fuel tax fund, TIF, and then the business development district fund there. Is what I'm looking at first. And you can see that I had to open this up for 2026 in the general fund because we sold the public works building, borrowed money, and then have a whole bunch more of expenditures this year than last year because of all the capital outlay related to the new building. So this year is a lot different than where we were in previous years because you've been stockpiling money, and now is the year that you spent it. And so, I think you spent about $381,000 in all the funds on capital improvements. So the land for the building, which was in process, that was about $171,000 during the year, and then you made significant improvements to your sidewalks. So about $214,000 was invested in sidewalks. So, a lot of the money, so some of the money came out of the TIF district this year for capital projects. And then, but really the big one was the business development district. There was $180,000 that you took from the business development district and use that for capital improvements. So Because the business development district, every year you've had a surplus and really haven't spent, the last couple of years you spent some money on that, but this year was the first year that you spent more than what you brought in.
That was by design.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you have surpluses in 22 of 113,000, 23 of 137, about break even. In 24, 25 you were up about 32,000, and then you spent about $100,000 more than what you brought in this year. But that sales tax revenue has been slowly increasing. We're looking at 5 years ago it was 126,000. Now it's 142,000. So it's doing good things for the village and for the community. TIF district, same thing with the TIF district. Significant increase in the TIF district revenues over the last 5 years. It's up to $326,000 in revenues. Now, not all of that. A lot of that there's a redevelopment back to the districts. Not a redevelopment, but like a redistrict where a big portion of that TIF money goes back to the other taxing bodies. So I think this year it was just under 200,000 of the so really if the revenue was 326,000, 200 actually gets redistributed. So it's about 127,000 that is available for your use.
That's the 80% of the residential that gets recovered.
Yeah, and so that has grown to be a substantial number. As the revenues go up, that expense is gonna go up with in conjunction with it. So, but all those economic development, both those funds, the village has chosen to do things, and they want to improve the village, and you can just see. We've generated money, and then we've used that money to put back into the community. So, motor fuel tax, that's your portion of what comes in from the state motor fuel tax fund. You have to use that for roads and, put it back into your infrastructure. Those revenues back in 22, there were some Rebuild Illinois funds that were in there. So actually your revenues back in 22 were actually like $15,000 higher than what they are today on that. But that's really just used for seal coating or it's infrastructure costs. And then we look total. Last year you didn't have, in all of these funds, you didn't have any long-term debt. This year you've got $585,000. Last year you had $1,311,000 of cash reserves. This year you've got $1,862,000 of cash reserves. So the net difference,
551, 345.
there you go.
But what is that all just the remaining outstanding debt? Is that if we look apples to apples, or because we didn't really grow $500,000, didn't we? Just in operational cash, or is some of that coming?
No, I think if we take that off the debt, if you take the debt off,
We're about the same.
you're exactly the same as where you were last year. So maybe a little bit short. I think within $25,000. I think you're probably your cash balance. So this year's cash balance less your long-term debt is about $25,000 less than your cash balance last year. So you've done all these improvements and are putting back in the community, and you're about where you were last year from a financial standpoint. Any questions on that? Talking too slow? Too fast?
We're doing good for me anyway.
Okay, I'll be real fast here. On the next page, the next handout is third line down. It says enterprise type funds. That's the water and sewer fund. There was a rate increase right at the beginning of the year. And so that revenues were up about 55,000 from that. Operating expenses, you've always been really consistent on your operating expenses, keeping those pretty reasonable. They're actually down this year. They're down about $40,000 from last year, operationally. So the increase in the rates, the decrease in the expenses, and you've got a positive operating income this year versus a negative last year. I mean, typically you're about break even over the years. This is the first year that you've been positive by a significant amount. So operate about $100,000 better off operationally this year than you were last year. So pretty significant. Other items you've got here, interest income. You're invested in Illinois funds across the board, and those pay really good interest, and interest rates have gone up a little bit here. So I'm sure 26, 27, you're probably outpacing where you were last year on your interest income. So real solid numbers there. Property taxes, there's a little bit of property taxes that come in for the sewer. Interest on the debt, because we had a big balance going into this year. So interest on the debt was 37,000 versus about 12,000 last year. But the solar project, that was like the high for the solar project of about almost 400,000 of outstanding debt. So that will come down in future years. And then the rebates, tax credits, I mentioned that there was a big tax credit, federal tax credit for the solar project, and then rebates that came in from the state. So those totaled almost $250,000. So I think the solar project total cost was 542. Correct me if I'm wrong here. 542,000, and you've got credits back of about 247. So that project was well funded. So and then down at the bottom, cash and equivalents here, you're up about 240,000 from last year, and your debt is down about 200,000. So
that's actual cash improvement.
Yeah, that's huge. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you figure the cash increase of 240,000 and the debt decrease of 200,000. That's a huge positive financial increase from the previous year, like $440,000. 250 of that is the rebate, the credits that came through, and the rest of that is operations. So you look at the whole thing, and there are some funds that have negative operations for this year, but those is spending of previous buildup. So overall, you guys are in awesome shape, and I think the decisions you guys are making, I think they're well warranted, and I think you've got the finances to do what you're set out to do. So, any questions?
I mean, just strategically, we've got to the next thing would be to get the solar loan paid off. And then the building we can't for 8 years, but we've got the money set aside for it. Mm-hmm. And the next big thing will be the water tower.
Then we're going to be broke.
Yeah, I don't even want to know. Well,
it's double. It's more than double the cost.
I think it'll be okay.
Since we started saving.
And so, are there incentives with the Illinois EPA?
Yeah, you'll get loan forgiveness. So we're hoping we can get up to half the loan forgiven.
Right.
So half of 3.5 would be 1.75. We've got roughly 700 and some saved. Mm-hmm. So now we're down to $1 million worth of debt that we would take on, but it's only at like 1.3%. Mm-hmm. So I think the money we're setting aside now, capital-wise, for the project will ultimately just shift to the payment, and we won't have to raise rates. That's the goal.
Yeah. No, it sounds like you're right on your way for that. So good. And the the bond, I mean, the interest that you're earning on your money in the bank is pretty close to the interest that's on the bond. So
It is.
So, having bonds outstanding and then having the liquidity of available cash, sounds good to me.
Yeah, the money we have for the bonds is earning, like you said, 3.7 some percent. And by the time we get out to the 8 years where we can pay it off, we'll have the money there to do it. So it'll be done.
Right. Yeah. Very good. Well, I appreciate your time this evening. Appreciate you guys engaging us as your auditor, and we'll get the rest of these reports done. We'll get the audit to Jacob Klein so they can work on the TIF, and should be good. So if you ever have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So it's not a requirement, but we normally vote to approve the audit.
Yeah, entertain a motion to approve the audit.
I'll make a motion.
Second. Motion by Johnson, second by Sidek. Did I get that right?
Yep.
We don't need to roll call that one.
We do.
We do.
Oh, no, we don't. We don't. Correct. Sorry.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those nay. Opposed nay. Motion passes.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank
Okay, moving on. Everybody should have a copy of the August 10th meeting minutes to review.
I will make a motion to approve the meeting minutes as written.
Motion by Johnson. We have a second.
Second.
Second by Sidek.
Non-roll call.
All those who approve signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes. And treasurer's report.
You have a very short treasurer's report tonight. We only had like $2,500 worth of invoices that came in over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm going to give that other stack to her so she can call.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Wear your socks. Sandals with socks.
Anyway, very short treasurer's report, full of payroll reports, and that's it. Any questions, let me know.
Like it's only $2,500.
I know, right?
Entertain a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
No move.
Second.
Yeah, stay where you.
Motion by Reaver, second by Sidek. And we will roll this one. Reaver,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Sidek,
Yes.
and I mean yes.
Nothing to report from the engineers.
Attorney's report,
Nothing to report from the attorneys.
administrator's report.
Nothing to report from the administrators.
Wow.
All right, committee reports. I don't have anything on finance, planning and zoning. Anything there?
No.
Okay. Sanitary sewer.
Let's see. You guys, we utilized our new protocols to approve the 3 votes to approve the
Lift station.
lift station. So it's already been approved, but you guys can see that there are 2 quotes in here just to see the finances that we kind of talked about between the 2 options we chose. Since we've already approved it.
Yeah, we vote anyway, just to make it official.
Okay.
So the 14,350 or whatever was the repair or buy a new one. and the 12,986 was the repair.
And we just bought the new one because it made more financial sense. So I would like to make a motion to pay the $14,350 to Linden and Company for a new
Pump.
submersible pump.
15 horsepower.
15 horses.
I don't think
Giddy up.
Second.
Motion by Johnson, second by Sydek. Any other discussion? All right, we'll roll call this one. Johnson,
Yes.
Sydek,
Yes.
I'm a yes, and Weaver.
Yes.
Motion passes.
So for sanitary sewer, that is end of report, and I do not have anything for water.
Okay, building and grounds.
Do you want me to do the cameras?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so in your deck, you've got 4 sheets of paper on the cameras. The first one shows the specs of what the cameras look like. Basically, there is one main hub device and 4 cameras that come with each section. The reason we're looking at this was originally to put the cameras in for the new Public Works building. Probably 1 inside, 3 outside is the current thinking. You have to buy 4 cameras with each package anyway. While we were doing it, we thought, well, let's go ahead and get quotes for upgrading the ones here in Village Hall, and also whether or not we need cameras down at the lagoon, especially now that we've got the solar panels down there. So the ones for Village Hall, the package there is $1349.95 or about $1350. Basically, what we would do is we would have one on the front of the building, one on the back of the building, one inside here, and then one on the bulk water station. And then the camera out front here is big enough and robust enough that it would cover the water tower as well. I don't know if you know, but we did have somebody climb the water tower about a month or so ago and go up and do some damage to some of the noise net equipment that's up there. And so that would be the purpose of if we did Village Hall. I talked about the fact that on the Public Works building, we would have 1 or 2 maybe inside and then 2 outside, but I'm thinking 1 in the back, 2 in the front, and 1 inside for there. And then the lagoon is a little bit more complicated because we don't have Wi-Fi down there, so it requires a little bit more work on their part. And the thinking there was to have 1 on each end of the solar panels, 1 on the building, and 1 on the gate. I presented these as 3 individual quotes. That way you can consider them that way if you don't want to do one of them, or if you don't want to do any of them. If you want to do 1 and not the other 2, or 2 and not the other 1, you can consider them that way. The funding would come from the buildings and grounds capital money that we've set aside, so it wouldn't impact our operational budget at all. And basically what happens is the cameras come with an app that it's motion sensitive, so if something happens, then myself and Roger and maybe the mayor or whoever we want can get an alert, and then you can look online and see what's going on based upon the motion sensitive. If there is motion, it automatically records, and it holds that recording for a month, so that way if anything happens, we know we've got the recording to go back and look at. The cameras in this building currently do not have that functionality. They're just kind of there to make people see that we've got cameras to, as something that would be deferring. So if you did them all, there would be $6,068. Or if you did them each individually, or did 1 and not the others, you could see the prices. So.
A question.
Yeah.
Well, a couple questions. So first off, is there a backup to these if you talked about the difference between Wi-Fi, because like with the lagoon, some are Wi-Fi, some are not, some are hardwired. So let's say we have a power surge and we have an outage. Do they still run? Is there a battery backup? Would it go to like a battery backup or a generator?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Does it record to the cloud in that sense too? Because if we lose Wi-Fi during this outage, are we still covered from a liability
I'm sorry, I don't
standpoint?
have the answer to the question. I can get those answers though.
And are they warrantied?
There is a warranty on them, but it's not very long.
I only ask because my personal cameras, they work really well for about a year and then they aren't the greatest. So
Yeah.
I have a question too.
Yeah.
Would we have a monitor to be able to view the cameras?
I believe so, yes. I think
Well,
the,
that'd probably be an app that you just put on your computer.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's, okay. I hadn't thought about it.
there's a computer that would link, and then also have the app on your phone that you'd be able to link.
I don't want it on my phone.
Oh, I understand.
She's like, you guys are doing it yourself.
Like an APC unit or an APC. So anything that would be there, I mean, just to keep them up in the event of a power outage or something like that, I think that would be there. I don't know about functionality for access, but.
Yeah, the guy from Mid-Century and their sales guy wasn't available tonight. But had him here to help us answer questions, and we can postpone it till the 14th if we want. There's really no urgency to.
I just, knowing kind of the crime and political environment right now, especially with like people stealing copper wire, I think it's very important that we have a battery backup, especially by the solar. You know, just saying, especially, I guess I didn't even know someone climbed the tower too, so I'm just seeing the liability portion in the back of my head. You know, God forbid that we lose. I mean, we're a Tana City. How many times do we lose power a year? You know, just don't want to open up an opportunity for someone to.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think the cameras are a great idea personally.
So then, do we need to table this until we have those answers? Or?
I mean, the battery backup. I mean, if they say yes, we need to get a battery backup, and that's additional. I mean, I'm still gung ho for the cameras, so I don't think we have to wait on that, right? Or
Again, like I said, I don't think there's anything urgent. What were you going to say, Rob?
Yeah, I don't think that we need to wait because of a battery backup.
agreed.
And the storage on the cloud, I can get the answers to those two questions.
Maybe we vote on these with them attached to it, and then if we want to change something later on.
Yep.
Yeah, or I can come back and have a new vote on a battery backup, or if there's a different way we want to store it or whatever, we can vote on that.
So I got shorted one.
Okay, we'll vote these in 3 separate votes then. One for the Public Works building.
I think we could do them all
If everybody's
together.
for all three,
Everybody's for all 3?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, then we'll do all 3.
and the total would be 6,068, so you could do a not to exceed 7,000 or something.
And there's a $33 a month
Reoccurring.
fee
For each one.
No, I think it's just on
just for the.
the lagoon.
Oh,
SIM
okay.
cards.
Yeah, so not to exceed 7,000 up front, and then all reoccurring of
Oh, it's a plan. Okay.
yeah, 33.59.
So do we want to add something with, to include, and the cost of battery backup? or
Like I said, we need to pay extra for that. I'll just bring back a new quote. We'll
Okay.
just vote on it separately.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the mid-century quote for the City Hall Public Works building and the bill. 6,100 plus.
68.
Not to exceed 7,000.
Second.
And do we have to put in the monthly cost in the?
Yeah. And the recurring of the 33. Whatever it was.
Have a motion by Weaver, a second by Johnson. Any other discussion? All right, we'll roll call this. Sidak?
Yes.
Pearson's yes. Weaver?
Yes.
And Johnson.
Yes.
Before we leave that Public Works building, I was informed later this afternoon that we do have power there now.
Ooh.
So the next thing will be, is they're gonna come in and do all the fit and finish with the cabinets and flooring.
Did they get parking?
The propane's coming.
Okay.
Anything else for building and grounds?
No.
Okay, streets and alleys.
Let's see, there's a quote from Home Comfort to do some concrete lifting.
Yeah, there's 22 slabs on Phil Gold and Joe Lynn Court that we've had some feedback on. Roger's been wanting to try this new process, and maybe you know something about it, Rod, I don't. But it's 22 different slabs where they put this foam or whatever under it, and they lift it up and level it out. And if it works well there, then we can maybe do it in some other places in town.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Just for to replace it, it was like 4 times.
How do you identify those locations?
These were originally brought about because neighbors had said something about them. But Rod, eventually, no, I hear you. One of the things we want Roger to do is eventually do kind of like we've done with the roads, is to canvass the town and look for areas that need it the most, and then and dedicate money to it. For what it's worth, we have $510,000 in the streets and sidewalk capital account, which is where this money would come from. So again, we're not spending operational money, we're spending money that we've already set aside to cover it.
I make a motion to approve the home comfort bid of $39.40 for the concrete lifting.
Second.
Motion by Weaver, second by Sidak. Any other discussion? Roll call this. Pearson is a yes. Weaver?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
And Sidak? Yes. Motion passes. Anything else for streets and alleys?
Well, they finished the spray patching.
Oh,
So,
Man, I was gonna say that looks real good.
so basically what he did is he did all the areas that we plan to do, that start the new oil and chip next year, the first year of the second 5-year. He did the spray patching this year of everything that will be done next year.
Are they done?
And then he's just going to keep doing that, right? Yeah, they are done.
So every year they'll do.
I look good. Couple rocks glued to the bottom of my sandals, but
That happens.
Community and economic development?
So we have 2 grant disbursements tonight. One for some new windows and paint, and one for some siding and a few extra accoutrements on the outside of a building. Namely, according to the recipient, I have no idea what this is. But new windows and siding.
And this is the first reimbursement you said?
I was just going over. The first one in our agenda is for project 26 BDDC. Yes. Is it named that because it's the only commercial BDD project?
No,
Usually they
it'd be
have
the
numbers.
year 26 BDD commercial.
Yes. But is that the only one? Because they usually have numbers.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I was just
It's
looking
a
for
lot. I
that.
don't remember having it approved. But either way, we're on the hook for $9,566.25. You can see the after picture. I think is this the?
No, we don't have after, but these are before, I think.
Oh really? You need after.
And I need you to,
That's what it looked like.
We have to send somebody out.
and then kind of Brian.
Two from Brian.
Right? Can I have him sign this document?
Yes. He is now Tony.
This is my decade.
Just making sure.
But I make a motion that we approve the disbursement of $9,566.25
I have the other one on top, sorry.
to the recipients of project 26 BDDC.
Motion by Sidak.
Second.
You have a second?
second.
Second by Johnson. Any other discussion? Roll call that. Weaver?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Sidak?
Yes.
Pearson's yes. Motion passed.
And our second disbursement is for some new windows and siding and I think aluminum doors, what it was supposed to say. And that total cost for our grant amount is $5,000. That's one of our TIF projects funded with our TIF money.
It does our first TIF payout.
Second.
Second TIF payout.
Because we had the other house.
The Venus.
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
And that place looked awesome. They're doing a ton of work on the place. But this is this place. So I'll make a motion that we approve the disbursement of $5,000 to the recipients of project 26T8.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Motion by Sidek,
Seriously,
second
no.
by Johnson.
Exclamation point.
When that?
Any other discussion on that one? Roll call, Johnson,
Yes.
Sidek,
Yes.
Pearson, yes, Weaver.
Yes. I want to put front picture with
We'll sign both of those after.
We will need originals back to Sarah and then electronic copies to, you can just send them to me and Sarah and I'll get them to Gwen.
Okay.
Anything else, Mr. Sidek?
Looking forward to many more disbursements.
Yeah.
End of report.
Administration
Nothing.
and other business. I wanted to ask everybody.
No, the only thing would be is Trace is here tonight and he's agreed that he wants to serve. So Mayor Pro Tem will nominate him for the Planning and Zoning Commission next meeting, the 14th of September, and we'll have an ordinance prepared for that night to vote on to have Trace join us. Trace would be joining us though probably he'll be here the 14th, I'm assuming, but then he'll be joining the first meeting in October, I believe, officially.
Excellent.
Good to have you.
So we need to make a motion, right?
No, we don't have to do anything at this point.
At
We'll
this
do it at
point?
the next meeting.
Awesome. Look forward to having you. Before dessert.
3 weeks to the next meeting. 14th.
Do I need to do anything with it?
No.
All right, yeah, next board meeting is September 14th. Anything else to come before the board?
Motion to adjourn.
We need a motion to adjourn.
I don't know, do we normally motion to adjourn?
No.
No.
Just adjourns? Okay.
Yes, you
Meeting
Yeah,
adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's the treasurer.